Hi, this is Kyle Chapman, and this single short video is just a primer on some skills for working with a group. This mini unit about group work is happening in PROG 1205 because we want you to know some basics about teamwork before you work on group labs. Some people here are probably thinking they already know a great deal about group work, and it's possible that they're right. However, a lot of people think they know a lot about group work because they've always got by, without actually thinking about whether they've developed group work skills or not. So take this as an opportunity to check your understanding. For one thing, there's a bit of a stereotype about IT folks being lonely nerds huddled in dark basements. Some of you may be lonely nerds huddled in dark basements right now, but probably many of you are not. The fact is, even if this trope were once true, it isn't really anymore. There are still nerds in basements, but there are also a lot of very successful IT professionals who work with others, sometimes in well-lit above-ground spaces. From my reckoning, having connected with a number of our graduates and industry partners, it's a majority of our most successful graduates who have a good handle on how to work effectively in a team environment. And it's not just me either. A lot of publications emphasize these skills, like this list of IT skills from CompTIA, listing communication, project management, and interest in helping others. And this list of skills from Indeed, that among a big list of technical skills also lists leadership, collaboration, and persuasion. And this list of skills from LinkedIn Learning, including persuasion and collaboration. And based on the survey we give the new first-year IT students during orientation each year, I think many of you fully agree with me about the value of these non-technical skills. What you might find when you complete one of our programs and go job searching is that employers will say, "You've got a foundation, we can teach you any technical skills we require, but first we need to know that you will be able to work with our people." Now here are some general tips for effective group work, which are mostly taken from a top tips document that SALS publishes. Depending on the scale of the project, you might want to inventory the skills of the group members when you start, so you know how to focus. You might also want to think about what skills you want to develop during the project. Although students do this regularly, it's a bad idea to divide the work between topics or courses. So, for example, someone could say, if you take the lead on Lab 4, I'll take the lead on Lab 5. Well, that's not a good idea, because then each of you only actually do half of the learning. Naming a group leader can help, as can setting up rules, perhaps as a group charter. You should schedule meetings and set early deadlines. If you plan for the group to be done all contributions, say, 3 days before a due date, you'll have time to respond if things don't go exactly to plan. Now on that last slide, it said to schedule meetings even if they're short. Something you should consider is that this, again, is a completely normal IT skill you can be developing. You might have heard of something called Agile Development, which is an IT project methodology that has become very popular in the last decade or so. Many of our graduates are using this regularly. Now this is just a primer. You'll hear more about Agile Development later. But one of the main tenets of Agile Development is that there are very frequent, very short meetings. They usually call these a scrum. In some environments, scrums are tightly timed, and you'll be told, you have 21 seconds. Tell us what you've done since last time, what you're doing next, and what's going to stop you. And that might sound silly, but it's actually very close to the truth in many cases. And this is considered to work well. You do a little bit of work, you check in, and you identify potential issues early so that you can be supported by your team. You might want to try it. My belief is that nearly anyone can be a great group member, but it mostly comes from their willingness to engage. Most people would never want to let their group members down, so if you find yourself with a partner who isn't contributing, see what you can do to pull them in. Maybe even consider asking them for help directly. Everyone here is supposed to be learning, so we all need to get used to asking for help anyway. Learning something new from a colleague is just extra value in your program for you. I said nearly everyone can be a group member, and in my opinion, there are a few people who don't make good group members. First, anyone who says it'll be okay because they know someone who has taken the course before. They've got no interest in learning, and they might be doing something underhanded. Second, anyone who has everything done right away. They probably think that they're doing you a favor, but guess what? You haven't learned a thing. And maybe they can explain it to you, and that can help, but it still completely misses the point. Third, someone who has vanished off the face of the planet. This is indeed concerning. Make sure you've reached out more than once, and then we need to find some way to resolve this. We'll talk more about resolving issues in a moment. To those of you who prefer to work alone, let me say this clearly. Collaboration is an essential IT skill. No well-meaning professor in this program is ever going to completely let you off the hook when group work is assigned, because this is something our program outcomes demand of you. In many cases, this is at the provincial level, and our program advisory committees want you to collaborate too. Within the scale of Intro to Programming, Our group labs actually say the instructor will assign the groups, and they might, or maybe sometimes you'll have a choice. But if you don't have a choice, let's recognize that in industry, you rarely have an exact choice of who is joining your projects, and working with someone new is a learning asset. That person has things they can teach you. If you don't think they can help you with IT stuff, maybe they can help you develop some interpersonal skills. Now is a great time to work with someone you can't relate to anyway. If you can't work effectively with someone here, you might do poorly on one assignment. But if you can't work with someone in your job, you might be finding a new job. Let's take this as a chance to get better at collaborating. Now back to managing conflict. In the case of a partner that has never responded to anything and you've tried at least twice using the tools available to you, and you do have the ability to email any other student, for example, that can be escalated to your professor, and I think you'll find you'll usually get a reasonable resolution. Maybe you won't if you've left it until the day before the group work is due, but if the time frame is reasonable, things should be okay. Now, if the group is established and there's some kind of conflict, this often emerges from group members misunderstanding their roles. And this is why having a project manager and a group charter could be valuable. If each group member's duties and meeting times have been written down somewhere that you can all access, then you can follow up effectively. However, if nobody knows what they're supposed to do and when, that's not really a conflict we're going to be able to manage effectively. Always try to handle this within the group and refer to any plans that you've made. If a group member has been letting the team down, and you have some kind of record of your contact, like email history or chat logs, your professor is going to have better evidence that the problem lies with the group member and not with you. When you're escalating this to the professor, consider an appropriate way to communicate about this. Don't use a group chat or an in-person meeting in a classroom where other outside parties will hear this sort of talk. An email would probably be the most appropriate. Outline the problems, including when you have contacted the person about it. We will have to deal with this case by case, of course, so I can't really speak to how this will be resolved. You'll probably learn more about effective group work as you move through your program, but if you want some other general advice, SALS sometimes has workshops and materials on the subject, including their top tips for working effectively in a group handout, which you can access from the top tips section of the SALS website. There's also Campus Conflict Resolution Services that is run by faculty and students from the Mediation Alternative Dispute Resolution program with Durham College. You can contact them to get advice or book mediation appointments, which is ideal for sorting through situations where a long-term group project is found to be full of conflict. Finally, of course, you can talk to any of us. Any of the faculty who have been in the IT programs for a few years have seen a good share of good group work, bad group work, and conflict. And if we talk about it, even casually, you might find that we have some advice for how to get your group work moving in the right direction. Thanks.